down for day 7.
Sounds right.
How are you doing, Lawrence?
You know, I'm reading Bleach, I guess. I'm doing
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
it's been a big 24 hours for me. Played in my first Sequester Mini last night, then did the Podquester Mini, then watched the International Mini, then I did some Jeopardy in a Discord and a Big Brother Australia draft, and worn out, very tired, but happy to discuss some Bleach with you. I had a pretty good set of 10 chapters myself today in terms of, I think I had 520 through, I had 521 through 530, which are pretty good for myself.
Nice.
But Lawrence, today you had chapters 61 through 70.
Yeah. Well, a ways away from that, from that number.
Yeah. 44 days, I think, if my math is correct. More or less. 45 maybe. So where we last left you, you've had a pretty good run the past 2 days. You had yesterday. You met Renji and Byakuya. They came to fetch Rukia and took her back to Soul Society. Ichigo got his shit wrecked and lost his Shinigami powers and had to go to Urahara for some training to help regain them. Where we last left off, he was in the middle of his training, or the start of his training.
Yes.
And a talking cat asked Orihime and Chad if they were ready to undergo some training of their own.
Correct.
So, to speak a little broadly, thoughts on the training overall now that it's been finished, without necessarily getting into the Zangetsu or the Hollow, not necessarily just about Zangetsu, but just overall thoughts on the training.
Well, I thought definitely the Ichigo training was, in terms of what he was going through, was interesting. You got to see, like, without going further into it, you got to see like how the beginnings of the Soul Reaper powers like start, and what the process is for that, and so that whole thing was interesting. It definitely felt like, in terms of like the Orihime, Chad, and like Uryu training stuff, they were definitely I felt like they were holding a lot of that close to the vest to have like more of like a shock factor when you reveal like what the training exactly did for them once they get to the Soul Society. Like, so I definitely felt like, yeah, that stuff is either going to be like revealed further in like a flashback setting as to like what their training was like that and during that time, or you're just going to like get like what the results of it were without really getting like what the training was like. Because I feel like for the especially for the Orihime and Chad stuff, like it was like the only really like glimpses into their training was just like
them panting. Them panting, and
Yeah,
the cops are coming.
Yeah, and the cat saying like, "Why are you what are you doing this for? Like, what's your reason for doing this?" Like that was pretty much you don't even get Chaz's answer as to like why he's doing this. You get Orihime's answer, but you don't get Chaz's answer. So yeah, they're definitely holding a lot close to the vest with them.
Thoughts on Ichigo's training though?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, it was it was good. Yeah, I think that was good stuff. You, like, as I said, you got to see the beginnings of like what the becoming a Soul Reaper is like, and yeah, definitely more in depth for sure. Like I like that you pretty much saw everything that he went through.
What are your thoughts on the I guess the design of being in that reigning inner world of city escapes and whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like we'll like get more answers as to like what the point of that world is, and why it's the way that it is. And yeah, that was pretty cool. And then also, of course, like him getting the him talking to Zangetsu, and
what were your thoughts on Zangetsu?
oh, definitely, a mysterious figure. I mean, he's like a 50-year-old dude. It's like interesting that like that Ichigo, like a 15-year-old kid, has this like 50-year-old dude living in his body. Like, I guess. So I wonder if there's like what the connection is there. Is there how is like what he looks like decided? Is it like based on something in like Ichigo's like memories buried somewhere deep from a past experience, or Is it some like entity that was like sent to Ichigo and that he's just responding to? Yeah, it seems like we're gonna get more answers as to what's going on there.
Yeah, I can confirm you'll get some answers to that.
Yeah.
What about thoughts on the design for Hollow Ichigo?
I mean, yeah, it was cool. You know, you got the you know, because he was like almost about to turn into a hollow,
Mm.
and to the point where the two kids were like, we need to stop him, blah blah blah, and his face like had the hollow mask on it, and yeah, so yeah, cool designs for sure. Yeah, interesting.
All right. What were your thoughts on the Soul Society portions of these 10 chapters?
I mean, really, the only Soul Society. Oh yeah, in terms of well, you see who is it?
Renji and
Bayag
Byakuya.
Renji, yeah, Byakuya. They tells Rukia that she's going to be executed in 25 days, and Renji is kind of like shocked. Is because it seems like it's almost like the way that things are shown. It's almost like Renji feels tighter to Rukia than Byakuya does, even though that's his like biological sister, but he also seems equally shocked that Byakuya is like, even though he probably knows like this guy is like the most by the book guy that there is in the Soul Society, like at least that he knows personally, he still seems kind of shocked. And then you also had the other uh, division captains, Zaraki and Ichimaru, confronting him and kind of like saying like we'll do like one of them's like I'll do the execution for you so you don't have to go through all this but he's doing it in like kind of a douchey manner, of course, and the other one is like stops him and is like I'm sorry, like we weren't trying to like be dicks about this, like ignore this guy. But yeah, it seems like everyone's just like kind of like surprised that Byakuya is just like taking this sitting down, and I'm kind of feeling that way as well.
What did you think of Jin and Kenpachi?
um who are those people again? Remind me.
Jin Ichimaru and Kenpachi Zaraki.
Are those the people that were like inspecting that body, the gig guy?
No, you just talked about them. They're the other
Oh,
captains.
okay. Oh, the names just slipped. Oh, I mean, I only saw them for like 5 seconds. I mean, one of them seemed like a douche. The other one seemed
Well, which one?
the one that was like saying that I'm gonna execute your sister for you. Like that one's a douche.
Kenpachi?
The one with the like weird hair, the one that had like the hair sticking out, like in like
That's Kenpachi.
yeah, that guy. He seemed like a douche.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I feel like that's. Like
I think the art's a really good part of the series, and I think that they have distinctive art. So I was just wondering what you thought about them along that.
Oh, I mean, I'm not saying like douches and like he's like a bad character or something. He just seemed like as a personality wise, he just seems like an a-hole, and like maybe that will further be revealed to he's just like a surly guy that's not that bad, or he might just be like a full-on a-hole. We'll see in terms of that. The other guy, I think Zaraki, right? The other captain, he seemed like more like he seemed pretty friendly, I guess. Like he was like apologizing for the other dude for like speaking out of line in terms of like saying he'll execute his sister for you, and but yeah, I mean, it definitely seemed like they were setting up those characters to be like potential people that the crew going in the Soul Society will have to like encounter and fight, maybe, or something along those lines. Yeah, so definitely seemed like character setup.
Well, how did you feel about the 10 chapters overall today?
Yeah, strong again. Build up. This is pretty much like the training arc of the series, where you every like shonen kind of has that, where they're getting the like introduced to like their powers, and you get to understand like how they come to be, and like, and there's usually some sort of risk involved in terms of like potential death. Like Ichigo like had the whole chain of fate thing, where if either it ran out or like I think the process is called encroachment. Either the chain of fate runs out and he becomes a hollow, or he becomes a soul reaper. So there's usually like some sort of test there that you have to pass, and Ichigo of course passed it, and and I think the way that they approached that was in a like exciting way in terms of getting to meet Zangetsu and the whole sword powers and that whole world stuff. There was like a lot of interesting fantasy there, for sure. So I thought that all stacked up well. I mean, I do think it's a little cheap that they kind of hid the Orihime and Chad training stuff. Like, it would have been nice to like get a little bit more insight in that. Hopefully, there's some of it shown in flashback form, or it's worthwhile in the end because like whatever happened is so cool that I'm like, okay, I'm fine with missing out on how all of that happened. But yeah, definitely more setup, but I did like this setup.
Okay. Well, gotta do it. Let's talk about the Volume 8 poem for The Blade in Me.
Yeah.
I also want to note that I've got it up here, but I do like the cover art for this one especially. Nice twist there, especially with the red usage at the very top.
Right.
All right. So the Volume 8 poem is, if it rusts, it can never be trusted. If its owner fails to control it, it will cut him. Yes, pride is like a blade.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I messed up that reading.
Yeah, you're good. I got it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I like the poem. It's like I think it's pretty true. Like pride is like it's definitely like a thing you need, but it's also dangerous as well. You know, the pride before the fall. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's double-edged sword for sure, and that pretty much represents that in the poem. And yeah, so definitely a strong one, and I can see how it relates to the volumes and chapters as a whole.
Yeah, this is there are a total of 74 volumes, and this is like a top 10 poem for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess like my only other thoughts in terms of these chapters, like I'm enjoying, like I'm definitely enjoying it at this point so far. Like it hasn't gotten to the point for me. Like I feel like in manga and in most media, there's like usually a point where you get this tipping point where it's like, I'm not like like I'm not like up at like 1 a.m. thinking like I need to read more of this Bleach, like the next Bleach chapter, or I'm like before I go to bed, like I'm dying if I don't get to this next chapter or this next episode or whatever. I haven't quite gotten to that point with the Bleach yet. Like like I got to that point like One Piece, and there's a few other examples where of things where you're just like I need to get to the next thing. I haven't quite hit that point of it yet. But I'm still like, okay, I'm excited. Another 10, another 10, another 10. But I'm kind of waiting to like hit that point where it's like I need to like inject this into my veins. Like I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Let me look up. So would you say that Arlong Park was when things started to get really good in One Piece, where you were like really wanting more?
Kind of, I say like Arlong Park is like kind of that point, but the true point where I would like, I think that was like the point but I think the true tipping point where it was like I'm like I need this like right now is like Water 7 in his lobby is when the point where I was like from then on like I'm gonna like just like watch this like until like I have nothing else to do, like I need to finish this. Like Arlong Park was definitely the point where I was like, I see the power of this manga. I see the power of this show. I see like why it's valued so esteemingly. And if this is like a mid-level arc for the show, I'm very excited to see like what happens like beyond that point. So I'd say that like Arlong points, like I'm still even waiting for that point where I like see something where I'm like, I understand why this is like held in such high esteem. And if this is kind of like a mid-level thing of Bleach, then I'm excited to see like what the top of the mountain is for Bleach. You know what I mean? Like I'm waiting for like the moment where I can kind of see a spark thus far, but I'm not to the point where I'm like this is like must read, must watch stuff. Like I'm enjoying it though. Like I'm not trying to knock it, saying it's like bad or terrible or anything. Like it's been fun so far. But I'm like waiting for that point.
Well, just so you know, you're like right about in the middle of volume 9 is to me when One Piece starts getting pretty good.
Yeah.
Volume 9 of the series is chapter 72 through 81, and that isn't even like the beginning of the actual fight.
Right.
So that's yeah, for perspective. I
Okay.
think Bleach definitely takes a lot longer before getting to. I'll say that if you're comparing the two, One Piece has stronger, smaller arcs earlier on, but once Bleach gets to its big arc much sooner than One Piece does with Alabasta.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah, because like Bleach doesn't have a lot of smaller arcs. It has everything leading up to the first big arc, which is just kind of here and there.
Okay.
It just kind of has like some minor downtime. It has like 3 big arcs technically,
Right.
and then there's only really what I would even call like 1.5 small arcs.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, and I'm trying to knock Bleach. I'm enjoying. It's been a fun time so far, and I could see it like getting to that point. You know, the build up to this, like it seems like they're setting up for something big here, and you know, depending on how they execute this whole Soul Society like invasion, you know, thing that's about to happen now. Like I could see this being the moment that I'm talking about, like coming up here. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely waiting like excitedly to see like how this is all executed, you know, the whole Soul Society invasion like slash Rukia rescue attempt, you know. So definitely I think there's definitely a huge amount of potential for it to like reach those heights for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you've got another 10 chapters ahead of you tomorrow.
Yep, for sure.
All right. Have a good one, folks.
Mhm. All right, bye.
Bye.